If you're north of 50, you got to be north of 50, maybe north of 55 to remember this.
Barnaby Jones.
Yep.
Starring Buddy Ebsen.
Oh, Buddy Ebsen.
Also starring Lee Merriweather.
How good was Buddy Ebsen in the Beverly Hillbillies? How good was Buddy Ebsen in the Beverly Hillbillies? And that's before my time, a 60s era television show, but there's this thing called, what's the sheik say, Jason? Reruns? Oh, reruns. Anyway, I would check out some Beverly Hillbillies. I thought Ellie Mae was pretty. I thought Jethro was hysterical. So was the bank guy and the secretary. Granny was out of control. Buddy Ebsen, the glue that held it all together. It is a wide open Wednesday. No Jethro, no Beverly Hillbillies, no Buddy Ebsen, no Barnaby Jones. It's the neutral ground with Corey Johnson, yours truly. 2 big hours coming your way on the radio on this wide open Wednesday. I'm going to give you the Rouse's Market phone number in just a second where you can dial us up, the Rouse's Market phone lines on this wide open Wednesday. Let me explain wide open Wednesday first. You're the show producer on wide open Wednesday. We pretty much have it wide open Monday through Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But on wide open Wednesday, even more carte blanche than usual. You're the show producer. Maybe there's something on your mind, something that you think we're not discussing enough. Worse, not discussing at all, and it's vital. Or you think it's interesting at least. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines on this wide open Wednesday where it's 89, 90 degrees, feels like about 100. About 100. This time of year, if the sun just starts beaming and you're outside, it can jack up the temperature. It feels like 15, 20 degrees pretty quickly. Some cloud cover rolls over. The breeze picks up and it's for, 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time. It can drop the temperature like 20 degrees, feels like pretty darn quickly. It's amazing. But when you get caught in that sun thing and it feels like 108, it ain't so amazing. Lots of agua, drink up, lots of water. H2O is key, especially if you're outside. Any kind of physical activity, just the slightest bit of physical activity. Boy, lots of thunder and lightning and rain in some parts of the metro earlier today, in between, say, 1 and 2 o'clock. And I guess in some parts it happened before 1, and some parts it happened after 2. It's thunder showers. Sometimes they come rolling through. But definitely isolated like yesterday. We had some callers on the program. No rain out here at all. High and dry. Other callers like getting a few inches of rain maybe, or like a half inch of rain. A pretty hard downfall for 20, 30 minutes. Lots of thunder and lightning and rain earlier today. Power outages for a little while for 30, 45 minutes in Treme, uptown, around Hillary Street, Broadway, by Audubon Park, Oshner area in Old Jefferson, a trio of areas at least in the metro. We're talking like hundreds, maybe a little over 1,000 folks maybe getting power knocked out. But that's what that kind of weather will do. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. Yeah, those guys, Latrim. A lot of you have never heard of this company until you heard me talk about them. I've been discussing them, talking about Latrim for years, because for years, for decades, this company has had explosive growth, continues right now to have explosive growth. In New Orleans, in the state, in the South, in the country, in the world, literally. Latrim is a global manufacturing giant, born and bred and based right here in New Orleans. A culture of innovation. They invented the shrimp peeling machine over 70 years ago that they continue to innovate and change and continues to be the world standard. That led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belt, continuing to innovate, make it better, more efficient, different applications. An incredible company. All over the world, every continent. Latrim and Intralocks, all-plastic modular conveyor belts, Lapeyre Stair. Latrim's hiring because Latrim continues to have explosive growth to this day. You East Bankers, you West Bankers, their Elmwood facility under the UEP Long Bridge on Latrim Lane. I think, what is it, Plantation? I think they need to rename that Intralocks Boulevard or something because get rid of the Plantation name, and that's right in the heart of the 80-acre campus of Latrim of Intralocks. No, they've got like 1,300 folks there. They crossed over Jefferson Highway by Distributors Row, an entire, commercial block, a huge block, a few more acres. So East Bankers, West Bankers, right under the UEP Long Bridge. You North Shore folks, Latrim has a facility right off of I-12. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Dozens and dozens and dozens of positions available at Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com. The family of the victim of that tree falling in Jackson Square, French Quarter, that crushed the poor 16-year-old, suing the city. Morris Bart, who is supposedly helping the New Orleans DA, is suing the city. Morris Bart, who is supposedly helping New Orleans DA Jason Williams, his firm is suing the city. Kind of strange. Oh boy. Almost LSU's football coach, almost the Tiger head coach about 23, 24 years ago. This was the Tigers' choice ahead of Nick Saban. Tommy Tuberville. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. Now, I'm wondering, did Tommy Tuberville say American or just said American with no A, started it with an M? My opinion of a white nationalist is an American? I mean, is that just like, I'm on Pluto and slavery in the South, I think would be a reference on planet Earth to America? I mean, did he mean it just as some like outer space reference? Sadly, I don't think so. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm against that 110%. I'm against racism. A white nationalist is a racist by definition. My opinion of a female is they're a male. Now, unless, of course, that female says they're male, then, what is he saying? Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, that white nationalist is a racist. The male-female reference in today's transgender world was a terrible reference. Anyway, or not reference, analogy. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm against that 110%. It just doesn't make any sense. Tommy Tuberville's a trip and was almost the LSU head football coach. Then they went in another direction. and went with this guy, Nick Saban from Michigan State. Wow. Corey Johnson with you. Got a funny Sean Payton story. He is a trip. Basically was busting on John Gruden for paying a fine, a COVID violation fine to the NFL. Payton said he never paid it. He said every other coach he knows in the league ignored it. Basically said Gruden's the only fool, using expletives, but essentially saying, hey, man, you're the only fool that paid that fine to the NFL. Sean Payton, he definitely likes to yap. There's no doubt about it. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville. A New Orleans tradition for over 40 years. Serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? He said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
I'm doing this, Jason, like piano, but I should be doing this. The old squeeze box, the accordion. Yeah, you right. I was at Fausto's. I'm a creature of habit. Back on Monday for lunch. They'll open their doors in about 40 minutes for dinner. They'll roll till 9 p.m. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets, about 6 blocks in from the Parish line. That means very conveniently located for a lot of folks. Metairie, Old Jefferson, Bucktown, Lakeview, Lakefront, Mid-City. Really convenient. Fausto's Italian Bistro, some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. 5 to 9 tonight for dinner. They'll be back open tomorrow for lunch, 11 to 2:30. Monday through Friday for lunch, 11 to 2:30. Yeah, you right. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Yummy. Wide open Wednesday, 90-ish, feels like 100-ish. Little rain earlier. Probably rain in some parts of the city. It's isolated thunder showers in metro New Orleans along the Gulf Coast region. Some areas could be sunshiny and hot, not a drop of rain. Others getting maybe a half inch or so of rain, a pretty good amount where actually the lawn, the plants got watered. Lots of thunder and lightning and rain earlier today in New Orleans proper. Even a few little power outages for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes an hour in a trio of areas. Coming up in the 5 o'clock power hour, about 35 minutes away, 40 minutes away, Orleans Parish Communications District Interim Board Chairman, Dr. Brobson Lutz, one of the few, maybe the only one, you remember saying that Tyrell Harris needs to go. He's going to join us on the program to start the 5 o'clock powwow, about 5 after 5. Dr. Brobson Lutz, Orleans Parish Communications District Interim Board Chairman. We'll find out what's going on with that crazy board and the craziness that's gone down really for a while now. I mean, I talk about this, that request by the Office of Inspector General for specific records, the books, that type of stuff with the Orleans Parish Communications District, and Tyrell Harris not turning it over, refusing to turn it over. How crazy is that? Tyrell Morris, excuse me, I said Tyrell Harris. Tyrell Morris refusing to turn it over. What's crazy about that, it's the law. It's a request by the Office of Inspector General. Tyrell Morris and his office goes to court refusing to, I shouldn't say goes to court. The Office of Inspector General had to take Tyrell Morris and the OPCD to court to get that information. They win, Office of Inspector General. Tyrell Morris appeals a second trial, a second judgment. Over $50,000 of City of New Orleans taxpayer money wasted on attorney fees by just the Office of Inspector General. What about the attorney fees for the Orleans Parish Communications District? No, this Tyrell Morris, the documents, the 311 service, just, are you kidding? And then you have a mayor fighting for this guy like we don't know why, the mystery of the September 15th date. No, thank God the pressure came down before the board could decide, vote on this on Tuesday, and who knows which way that was going to go. Tyrell Morris resigned officially back on Tuesday morning, Monday night. I'm guessing that board was somehow going to oust Morris. There was that much public pressure. We'll find out by Dr. Brobson Lutz, who's on that board in about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, right here on the neutral ground, and find out how incompetent that board is. Yeah, I'll ask him those questions. Are you kidding me? Leidenheimer French bread. I had a nice shrimp po' boy the other day. Shrimp and ketchup and lemon, that Leidenheimer French bread. So good. They've been doing it over 125 years. I mean, it's impressive. 5th generation, family owned and operated. They're still baking that Leidenheimer French bread you love, that you see in the big bag sitting outside your favorite restaurant or po' boy shop in the morning right before lunch. Still baking that Leidenheimer French bread in the city of New Orleans. Yeah, the bread that's served in the finest restaurants, hot in a little bag. Chances are that shrimp, oyster, roast beef, whatever your choice, if the po' boy is a great po' boy, it's being served on Leidenheimer French bread. Literally good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. Leidenheimer Baking Company since 1896. What a New Orleans institution. I love the fact that still baking the bread in New Orleans, in the city. And that Leidenheimer French bread is now being enjoyed, I'd say, in a couple of dozen states. I think north of 20 states. Sent all over the country almost, just growing and growing. That's fantastic. It's that good. Corey Johnson with you on a Wednesday afternoon. Hey, I've got some $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Yeah, you right. I am like this, shoulders and ears. I could use a nice massage, 90-minute massage at the Woodhouse. I am overdue. From head to toe, face, hands, feet, back, neck. Are you kidding? You walk out of there like, it's feeling fantastic. 5 area locations. You know I'm right, guys and gals. Boy, a nice massage, a nice day of relaxation at one of the Woodhouse Day Spa locations. New Orleans Mid-City, Metairie near North Kenner, Slidell, Mandeville, Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana. Let's see. It's the canal that goes from the lake to City Park by I-610. The canal that goes from the lake to around City Park, I-610 roughly. Give me the answer, the name of that canal. And I've got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. This canal goes from the lake by UNO to like Dillard, basically, Dillard University. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. This canal essentially goes from the lake to Airline Highway, roughly. Airline Highway. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. 3 canals start at the lake. One pretty much goes to City Park, I-610. Another one goes by UNO, by the lake, to like Dillard University. And another one goes from like the lake to basically Airline Highway, right? Rouse's Markets phone lines to participate. 766-9480. 766-9480. I always say no intranet device, no Google, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, Bing. No internet device means no Google Maps either. No Google Maps. I think we have a holdover question or two from yesterday. The Chick-fil-A Carrollton at Tulane, the hotel, the Fontainebleau. Someone came up with that. Good work. Before the hotel was there, Pelican Stadium. I think it was Carolyn had just great information yesterday on all of that. Let's see. The UNO dorm building that used to sit on Leon C. Simon in front of the engineering building. recently demolished. It's gone. Pink brick was like, 8-10 stories tall, gone. What was the name of that building? First Orleans Parish Chick-fil-A location. First Orleans Parish Chick-fil-A. Those are a couple of holdovers from yesterday. Today, I've got a trio of canal questions. The canal that runs from the lake to basically I-610 by City Park. The canal that runs from the lake by UNO to basically essentially Dillard University. The canal that starts at the lake and goes essentially to Airline Highway. Give me the answer to any of those three. I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 766-9480. Coming up in about 30 minutes, Orleans Parish Communications District Interim Board Chairman, Dr. Brobson Lutz. If you remember a few days ago, he was the one saying, that might have been last week. This guy's got to go. Tyrell Morris has to go. We'll hear from him, find out about this board that he's been on for a while. And yes, I'll ask him why it is so dysfunctional and broken. It's insane. Hey, are you tired of your dry cleaner? You want to experience the best? YoungsDryCleaning.com, a New Orleans institution since 1940, over 83 years. YoungsDryCleaning.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dr. Brobson Lutz will join us in less than 30 minutes. He's the interim board chairman at the Orleans Parish Communications District. He was the only one on the board, verbally, yelling at the top of his lungs through a megaphone on top of One Shell Square, Tyrell Morris has to go. I'll ask him directly about this dysfunctional board. It should be an interesting conversation. Be there a little bit after 5 o'clock, right here, where New Orleans talks. Back to the phone lines we go. The Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. 766-9480. To Pearl River, Cameron joins us. What's up, Cameron?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
Doing well, man. What's happening up the I-59?
I used to have a buddy that used to attend UNO University, and he used to always point me out 17th Street Canal.
What's that?
The canal that runs from Lake Pontchartrain underneath 610.
The one that runs from Lake Pontchartrain through City Park to I-610?
Yes, sir. Is that correct?
That would be incorrect, Cameron.
Yeah, you wrong.
Next time.
Yep. Thanks for checking us out, man.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice one.
Yeah, you're right. That's Cameron in Pearl River. To Metairie we go, a.k.a. New Orleans West, home of traffic, lots and lots of traffic. Dominic is in Metairie.
Yes, sir.
What up, Dominic?
Hey, I love your show, man. I love the information that you spread, man. You spread a lot of love and good vibes. I thank you for that.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Dominic. I appreciate that, and I mean that. Like, not just appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it. I'm not just saying that. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. So I attended Dillon University, and I hope this answer is right about the canal, but is it the Inner Harbor Navigation Canal?
Wow. Where did you go to high school by chance?
Warren Easton, class of 95.
Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. I didn't know. Warren Easton, class of 95.
And Dillon, class of 02.
Now, if you would have gone to St. Aug, you might have known the name of the canal.
Okay. I thought I'd give it a shot. I thought that was it.
Yep. No. Now, what you said? What did you say? The intercoastal,
the Inner Harbor Navigation Canal.
Yeah. What is the Inner Harbor Navigation Canal? I'm trying to think where that is.
It actually runs the same course by the Seabrook Bridge. It goes into the east.
That's the industrial canal, aka industrial waterway. I guess that's the Inner Harbor Canal. Yeah, that goes to the intracoastal. It goes to hot water,
Yes, sir.
Bayou Bienvenue, all that. I got you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Cool.
Well, I thought I'd give it a shot.
Yep. Good try. Thanks, Dominic. Dominic in Metri, also incorrect.
Yeah, you wrong.
What a great name. Check this name out. We're going to New Orleans. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. That's how Rochelle dialed us up. What's up, Rochelle?
Hey, how are you?
What a great name.
Thank you.
That's old school.
It is old school.
You don't hear that one too much anymore. I like it.
I'm on the bridge on my way home, so I hope
What bridge are you on?
The Crescent City.
You heading to the best bank, bruh?
The best bank. That's what my husband tells me.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he tells me. Not quite sure it's true. You live in Algiers. You live in Gretna. Where on the best bank, Rochelle? Uh-oh. You there, Rochelle?
I'm still here. I said I live in Algiers, but I'm actually from
You're actually from where?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
You could have just put everything on a barge and floated down river and you didn't
floated down river.
I'm telling you, you don't need the moving truck or anything. So the husband's from New Orleans?
My husband is from New Orleans.
Yeah, usually
And we met at Dillard University. So
Wow.
I called him. I was like, let me see. And he went to St. Aug.
Oh, wow. Nice.
When you said the other person didn't go to St. Aug, I was like, okay, well, maybe I got a chance.
Yeah, that's that canal that runs along Dillard on that side. I got you. What you got a good answer for us?
He told me that it was the London Canal.
That's right, the London Avenue Canal. You are correct.
Yeah, you're right.
Ding, ding, ding.
What do we have for her, Johnny?
Yep, London Avenue Canal basically starts at the lake, obviously runs along UNO, along, I guess, the western side of UNO's campus, and goes through parts of Lake View, I guess it would be called, Gentilly, and then ends on the western side of the Dillard campus, essentially dead-ending at Gentilly Boulevard. But I guess it's sort of, there's probably a culvert, and it starts back up on the other side towards 610. Anyway. Yeah, I think, because it does. It would go to the pumping station. Check this out. At London Avenue and Broad.
At London Avenue and Broad. Okay.
Yep, about 2 blocks from St. Aug, which is now, what did they change London Avenue to?
Oh, they have so many different new street names. Hope.
Yep, this one's like 20 years. I should know.
AP Turo.
Yep. Is it AP Turo? It's AP Turo, I think. That's what St. Aug. Yeah, exactly. It's good, but yeah, sometimes hard to keep up. Hey, Rochelle, I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
I love Woodhouse Day Spa.
Nice. Now, you're on the Best Bank, so maybe the Mid-City location or Metairie near North Kenner. If you're on the North Shore, they got a couple there. Baton Rouge. Good at any of the 5 area locations.
Well, thank you so much. I also asked them about the other question, too, that you had about the plaza. About the Chick-fil-A too.
Oh, wow. Damn, you're nailing it.
It was the Plaza Mall.
Wow.
He said he remembered that was the first one.
Yeah, that was like, now you're way too young for this.
Well, my husband just turned 50 and I'll be 49 in September, but he used to live in New Orleans East, so he said that's the one that he used to remember.
He was a super. Yep.
It wasn't popular then as it is now, but he said he remembered it was in the Plaza Mall.
Yep. No, that was
he's pretty smart, though.
I think it was the first Chick-fil-A outside of Atlanta, outside of Georgia. And it was like 1974, 1975 in the plaza, a walk-up counter Chick-fil-A. And I think it was just like the chicken sandwich was their thing. I don't think they had anything else.
Yeah. And he was born in 73. He said it wasn't popular, but he said he remembered it being in the plaza.
Yep. And that McDonald's was number 1 in the entire chain of McDonald's in the plaza for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right by the movie theater right there. Anyway, I hope that area comes back somehow, Rochelle.
Yeah. We used to live in the East, so I would like for it to come back as well, too.
Yep. No, I grew up out there. I used to go to Kenilworth Mall, the Plaza. You know,
Dale Shamp used to be out there at Swagman.
Oh, they had everything.
The real superstore.
I think even I was mentioning the other day, I think outside of the Plaza, and you can ask your husband, there were probably a couple of hundred retailers around the Plaza on Lake Forest Boulevard, on Reed, on Crowder, car dealerships. And I'm not talking about those ones, some that have been abandoned on the I-10, like
standalone.
I think like Marshall Brothers exactly was like that standalone Lincoln Mercury dealer, Ford Lincoln Mercury. It was like on Crowder, like 2 blocks off the I-10, like, you know. So they had so much stuff back then. It was like a new Metairie. It was mixed. It was explosive growth, and then the bottom fell out. So no, I'm hoping the East comes back. All right, I've babbled enough. You want to hang on?
Yes, sir.
All right, Rochelle, excellent work, and her husband, London Avenue Canal. They picked up 50 big bucks from the Woodhouse. Hey, Jason, get Rochelle's husband's name. Get Rochelle with a maiden name, and get the husband with his name, so I can send him 2 gift certificates, because we're breaking the rules. But she nailed the Chick-fil-A in the Plaza 1975 answer as well. Usually a rule breaker, but Rochelle was nice, had good info, and is a St. Louis native who has come down to New Orleans and embraced our city. So we got to tighten her up. We don't have lots of outside or transient folks. And usually it's the male moving from St. Louis to New Orleans because of the girl who won't leave. So nice that this St. Aug Dillard grad didn't go to St. Louis. We need him here in New Orleans. And I'm glad he lured his wife, or had his wife stay in New Orleans after she got out of Dillard. Hey, Dr. Brobson Lutz is going to join us a little after 5 in about 15 minutes. He's the guy that said Tyrell Morris needs to go weeks ago. Was like, we don't need next Tuesday's meeting to look into this. We need to get rid of this guy right now. Why the dysfunction on this board? Dr. Brobson Lutz will join us. I'll ask him those direct questions. He's an honest, straight shooter. Should be a very interesting segment coming up a little after 5. Hey, every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. I'll make it real simple. You need air conditioning help? Honest air conditioning experts that come right now. NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
That's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Sean Payton is a trip. You got to admit he likes to yap. ESPN story. How Gruden's email led to Dan Snyder's demise. Really good ESPN article. Payton apparently told Gruden he never paid a $100,000 fine for COVID policy violations and joked with Gruden like no other coach paid the fine but you, John. Like you're the only idiot that paid it. Funny stuff. Hey, speaking of sports, oh boy, almost LSU head football coach 23 years ago. He was the Tigers' choice ahead of Nick Saban. That's a fact. Tommy Tuberville. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. The politicians we have today that are just such sellouts. What's my base? Boy, I threw out a bone and their mouths were just foaming. You know, full-blown ownership. Let me keep throwing out that bone. Oh, I don't want to get white nationalists against me. I am a representative from the great state of Alabama. Lots of white nationalists, at least that mentality, in the rural South. He's a colored boy, right? What? Did you say colored boy? You know, I think today it's 2023. I think the term's Negro. Jeez and Pete's. Like in a time warp. Wake up, white people, especially in rural areas. White nationalists. I shouldn't say just rural areas. No, white nationalist is a racist, Tommy Tuberville. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. Then he goes on to say, now, if that white nationalist is a racist, if that man is male, if that human being is a person, if that tree is a plant, I mean, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm against that, 110% against racism. Yeah, no, exactly. And the white nationalist is a racist. It's not a if he's a racist. He is a racist. Tommy Tuberville, geez, him. Then starts flipping it on to like liberals and political correctness and identity politics and all this insanity. Just dopey. No, if you're afraid to alienate your base because they're white racist people, you've got the wrong base. You obviously aren't a good person and a good politician if that's your base and that's who you're worrying about ticking off. Wow. My opinion of a white nationalist is an American. Yeah, I guess the racist white nationalist guy is theoretically an American. Yeah, you're right. That wasn't the point. We weren't really discussing what country he's from. Wow. Did he say Americans with an M or was there an A? American. 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 Hey, coming up in just a few minutes, Orleans Parish Communication District Interim Board Chairman. Tired saying that one. Dr. Brobson Lutz, one of the good guys, calling out Tyrell Morris weeks ago. He's got to go. This doesn't seem very confusing. Talk to him about that, the dysfunction of the board, and a whole lot more. That's about 5, 6, 8 minutes away. Don't go anywhere. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, live streaming KaareTalks.com. We're on YouTube right now. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground, live on YouTube till 6 o'clock. It's always brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. The Lamarck Automotive Complex. Acres and acres of vehicles. Hundreds of vehicles available. The big store, Lamarck Ford, number one in the region. Lamarck Lincoln, number one in the state of Louisiana. You know, across the parish, Crescent City Ford, the legendary Ford truck and SUV dealership, now under the Lamarck umbrella. That's right, out by the lake, the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Out by the river, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. How long have we been discussing Highway 90? South Slidell, White's Kitchen, to Pearlington, Mississippi. I think the Times-Picayune had an article today about the West Pearl River Bridge at the state line. The West Pearl River is not at the state line. No offense. I think, you know, I'm from here. I'm 50-something. Times-Picayune writers probably like 20-something, probably from somewhere else, and probably will do a great job. I don't really get on people that are 25 or 28 or 30 and don't know how to say Chapatoulas or something like that. But it's not the bridge at the Pearl River at the state line that's out. That bridge is shut down just because there's nothing to do coming into Louisiana. And hell, it might even be open where you can come right into Louisiana, but you're basically U-turning because about a mile or two down, the West Pearl River, there's a drawbridge from like the Huey Long era, essentially. And that drawbridge is out of commission, apparently. And that's what's shutting down, essentially, Chef Highway, Highway 90, South Slidell, New Orleans East into South Slidell, into Pearlington, Mississippi. You know that casino, the Silver Slipper? That's like Port Bienville. That's like on Bayou Caddy, Lakeshore. That's right there, too. Right on the way to like Waveland, Bay St. Louis. what was that, 603, 607, going into 90, all of that. What's that, Blue Boy? Dr. Brobson Lutz next.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Celebrate Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process, of a custom-made piece. I have a test that says if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
My Three Sons. Starring Fred McMurray.
Wow.
And his Uncle Charlie, William Demarest.
Oh, it's Uncle Charlie. That was only two people you mentioned, fella. It's My Three Sons. The third guy gets...
Brought to you by...
Yes. Brought to you by New Orleans. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees. Yeah, you, right. Corey Johnson back at you. A wide open Wednesday. How fun would it be to be Drew Brees' agent, Drew Brees' marketing guy? They must get just so much stuff, like a great actor getting scripts thrown across their desk every day. Drew Brees, just which product do I pick? Of all these products Drew Brees promotes, and it seems like it's dozens and dozens, might be over 100. How many has he turned down? 1,000? Wow. It is a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you all the way till 6 o'clock. Got a full slate. The Orleans Parish Communications District, their executive director, Tyrell Morris, finally calling it a day, resigning. What took so long? Weeks ago, this board member was calling for his ouster. Like, it was obvious. It was like, scratch your head. I'm miffed, perplexed, vexed. Don't understand why this is such a problem or a dilemma. Get rid of this guy. That Orleans Parish Communications District Board member is the interim chairman, Dr. Brobson Lutz, and he joins us live on the program this afternoon. How you doing, Doc?
Fine, Corey, but I'm not any interim chairman I know about. I'm just on the Board of Commissioners.
Oh, I thought you were the interim head of the board.
No.
All right, my apologies. How's it going, Doc? Everything's going well?
John Thomas is the chair of the board, and we have a new executive director.
Gotcha. Why were you the only person on the board that was publicly saying Tyrell Morris needs to go? Is this board just a bunch of yes people to the mayor?
Well, the CAO is on the board as a member at large, along with Mr. Thomas, and then there's several department heads that are also on the board, and they are all more or less appointed by the mayor. So the mayor definitely has the majority vote on anything that comes up for a vote. Now, in past years, this is actually sort of worked okay, but it was during Mitch Landrieu's administration where they started putting the at-large members on the changing them from being citizens, doctors, people interested in 911 to the CAO and, other cronies appointed by the mayor, and that's sort of when things started falling apart.
I remember that. That's Mitch Landrieu. I think Andy Copeland was appointed on the board as his guy, right?
That's right. Andy Copeland, I think, smelled some money over at 911 Commission. The city was having a hard time funding a lot of things there, and once he smelled the money, he decided he wanted to be on the board and displaced a physician who was also a volunteer policeman who was very well respected in the community, and that, I think, is the beginning of all the problems.
How the board became much more politicized, and you're saying Landrieu put Copeland on it, in your opinion, to steer the 911 money just into the general fund?
To use the 911 money for to take a load off the general fund.
Yep.
Now the majority of the money is actually from the general fund, but that's because all of the police it used to be the police complaint takers were all paid by the city. Well, they still are, but they're on the commission now. But however, so the city still contributes a huge chunk of their pay, but everybody who has a private line or anybody who has a telephone line or a cell phone registered to a New Orleans address pays a little bit per month to support the 911 Commission.
Wow, unbelievable. We're visiting with Dr. Brobson Lutz. He's an Orleans Parish Communication District Board member. Hey, Doc, so when it transitioned over from Landrieu to LaToya Cantrell, I'm assuming more of the same?
Well, everything initially was okay, but the chair was a Landrieu appointee, so that chair disappeared. I was vice chair at the time, which made me acting chair. And I get a phone call saying that the mayor wants me to call a special meeting to terminate Steve Gordon, who had been the executive director for several years, a retired policeman, excellent administrator, well respected in the community. And I said, why? And I said, well, he's got somebody, she has somebody else that she wants to appoint. And I said, well, I'm not going to call a special meeting. I'm not going to do it. Well, the bylaws allow a majority of the members of the district, if a majority of the members can call a special meeting, as well as the acting chair. So she had a majority. A special meeting was called, and Gordon was terminated.
Wow.
And that initially, I mean, those of us who'd been there were upset about that, but we were willing to give the new guy a chance. And initially, he did seem to bring some enthusiasm, some vigor, some activity to the district. But
this is Tyrell Morris you're talking about?
Yes. But then things started sort of falling through the cracks. For example, we found out that contracts were being awarded, personal service type contracts, for large amounts of money, and then people who wanted to bid on it were suing. Those items had not been brought to the board. When I asked why, I was told, oh, well, these were personal service contracts. They didn't need to come to the board. Well, any contract worth $1 million had always been brought to the board.
Wow.
A contract a lot less. So that was a little bit of a red flag, and then a lot more has more or less come out since the incident where he wrecked the car, did not take a drug test, and accessed the policy and apparently changed it.
Yep.
as far as when you need to be tested. It said, and it's, I mean, I was director of the health department and also in charge of the drug testing program years ago. And it was always any city employee involved in any kind of accident, whether there was an injury or not, always had to get drug tested.
Of course.
Gus had to get drug tested right after he came in.
It's about the accident. If someone's injured, that even makes it more important. But the wrecking of the city equipment and property need to be drug tested. Make sure you weren't drunk or on drugs when you were behind the wheel of that city vehicle. It's unbelievable.
And amazingly, that was put in during Sidney Bartholomew's tenure in office. And the number of workplace reported incidents in the city really fell when that was put in. People didn't report as much stuff. Because nobody want to get, or some people didn't want to get tested, I guess.
Yep.
But anyway, of course, the communications district has a separate set of rules and regulations. They don't go by the city's rules and regulations, but it was essentially the same until somehow that extra.
That extra line about only if there is someone that is hurt. Hey, Dr. Lutz, can you hang on 1 second?
Certainly.
We're coming right back with Dr. Brobson Lutz.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. We're visiting with Dr. Brobson Lutz. He's a board member on the Orleans Parish Communications District. I apologize for cutting you off, Doc, with that break.
Corey?
Yes.
Corey, I heard one of your ads for Young's Dry Cleaning. I got to give a testimonial for them. Those folks are terrific. They've been doing my dry cleaning for years now. They pick up, they deliver. They're absolutely spectacular.
I love it. I'll make sure I tell Dale and Don that.
Okay.
Hey, you seem just like a great guy, an honest guy. You're a successful doctor. You're civic minded. That's why you're on this board. We're talking about the incompetence of this board and Tyrell Morris and why it was so obvious that he needs to go. Please finish up with that, but also tell us why you stay on this board when it seems so dysfunctional. And my hope is because you want to try to make a difference and expose, wrongdoings like you kind of did with this.
Well, that's a good question, and I guess I learned from some of the old civil servants around City Hall from my City Hall days. They say, well, it doesn't make any difference what they do. We just sit around. We'll be here when they're gone. And that's sort of the attitude that I've taken in this. The board was originally set up for 2 at-large members that were supposed to be citizens picked by the mayor, and as well as the head of police, fire, and the health department, and also the head of Troop B and the National Guard local head. I think the National Guard and the Highway Patrol people sort of got tired of all the politics. They hadn't been showing up all that much, but
wow,
I was there from the beginning, from when this commission when the citizens of New Orleans in the 1980s voted to early 1980s voted to start the 911 communication district. Before that, there was a whole variety of numbers. You call a police number, or you call this other number for an ambulance, it's a different number for a fire.
Yep.
And it was very, very confusing. And so I consider it, I was there at its birth.
Yep, it's your baby. You've been there 40 years.
Like a child, and sometimes children don't turn out. Sometimes children in their development years can get a little wild, but they're still your children.
Yep. Well, what's the wildness on this board? How many folks are active on the board, and where do they come from? I don't need the names and the breakdowns unless you feel like doing that, but just how many are active, and they're essentially all mayor appointees?
Well, except there's a representative from what used to be Charity Hospital on the board. There's, like I said, the National Guard, and state police.
But they would show up at board meetings and it would be all this political nonsense like, hey, why didn't Dr. Lutz call this board meeting? And the mayor overruled him, and they decided not to come anymore. You were insinuating that the New Orleans politics, they rolled their eyes at it and said, this is a waste of my time. There's an agenda and there's nothing I can do. That's why I'm here. My original goals. That's long gone.
I can't speak for them, but I can certainly see how it's frustrating when you show up to a meeting and you've got a block vote of mayoral appointees who are going to go the way the CAO tells them to do, regardless of what the issue is. Now, I've been putting up with that. I scream and holler about it, but I mean, I didn't quit going. But then I'm in a little bit different position. I'm representing the organized medicine on the board. The Orleans Parish Medical Society was the original entity of which I represented. So I've got a little bit more independence, I think, than perhaps the other even non-city employees on the board. So that's sort of where I've been coming from on it.
Now, this interim director, this Karl Fasold, from what I understand, he's the tech guy and been there 20 years, pretty competent. How are you guys gonna get the permanent director? And do you think you and the board, I shouldn't say the board, will you and anyone that's trying to do the job right have any say in it, or the fix is already in?
No, I don't think the fix is in at all. I think there's going to be a national search. Notice there's a whole clique of these 911 communication type people all over the country. And just like it's the search for the police chiefs going on, I envision a search to go on for the a permanent position.
Well, some might say that the fix is already in for the police chief with Woodfork. Some would say that.
I know, yeah, and I know that Karl has said that he's not interested in the position permanently. I sort of hope we can twist his arm a little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing him in there permanently. He knows the system. He knows the players. He's been there. He's done it. He's done a good job under sometimes terrible circumstances. He was on board right before Katrina and helped engineering getting the 911 communication back up. I can remember in the first days after Katrina, the call center was actually operating out of a ballroom on the first floor of the Royal Sonesta Hotel, just hooked up with wires, almost like a ham radio operation, you know. And that worked then because not that many people were here to call in anyway. But Karl has been through it all. He went through that. He helped us get through, get the system back up and going. We've got a wonderful facility now, and we've got some really dedicated employees. Now, this whole thing has been rough on the employees during several of our really good employees were sort of shown the door by Tyrell and just got upset and left. I understand. I didn't know this until recently, but I know it now. And I think that the employees are all behind Karl. They like Karl, and I think we're going to see some. I think we're going to see better retention. I think we're going to see the employees being happier.
Hey, Dr. Lutz, the OIG had a report on the OPCD. It was pretty scathing. Tyrell Morris really seemed to be highly incompetent. Information that he should have given to the inspector general upon request by city charter, he refused to give. Not once, but twice. The IG took the OPCD and Tyrell Morris to court to get that info and won. Tyrell Morris appeals. They go to a higher court. The OIG wins again. Tyrell Morris finally gives the information over and is pretty scathing, Doc.
But that issue of whether the OIG had authority for this state board, it was a bigger question than what you were bringing up. It wasn't all that clear whether they actually had the authority. And I was of the opinion that we were a state agency, and
that's what I was going to ask you. The Orleans Parish Communications District, you're saying, is a state agency, not a city agency?
It's incorporated. Yes, it's established by a state legislature. It's a subdivision of the state.
Well, you know how we'll know if it's a state agency or not, or if it's a city agency. This new director, if you talk Fasold into sticking around, or they do a nationwide search, if the city council has to vote to approve that appointment, it's a city agency.
No, the city council doesn't vote to approve this. The executive director.
There you go. Then you might be right. Then you might be right.
Well, I know I'm right. That will be a vote of the board of commissioners. That the city council, as the presently at least, doesn't have any say so in it. Now, I know they because of all this, there may be some state legislation introduced. Lord knows what's going to happen.
No. I just knew that new legislation of any mayor appointee needs to be approved, like the police chief. But if the OPCD doesn't fall under that, it's a different entity. Although not once, but 2 judges ruled that the OIG should have received that information.
They did indeed, and everybody's agreeing that that's the way it should be.
And then the thing is, it wasn't a good report from the OIG. It was kind of scathing, and it just looks like Tyrell Morris was trying to cover his incompetent rear end.
Well, I think the attorneys for the district had a different view. They lost, and accepting the ruling of the court, but it is a subdivision of the state. It is not a city agency.
No, that's an interesting point. Hey, Doc, any final thoughts before we let you go? It's just it's been crazy. It's been chaotic.
I think the future looks good. I think we've got an interim director in there who's terrific. And the best news about the 911 commission would be no news. So if you don't hear anything, they're doing their job.
No, and when you call 911, hopefully someone answers the phone, a live person like in Jefferson and elsewhere.
I think they will. But thank you very much.
Doc, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
That's Dr. Brobson Lutz. He's on the Orleans Parish Communications District Board. No, he's one of the good guys. He's one of the guys that was calling out Tyrell Morris, needs to go weeks ago. And kind of, flailing his hands in the air, arms in the air, like, what the hell? This is so obvious. What's the problem? His attitude, his opinion, him declaring that so, demonstratively, and his reputation as a good, honest guy, not some political hack or pawn or appointed, anointed joker, got the needle moving. Got this clown Morris ousted way ahead of September 15th. And apparently the guy who's in his place, this Fasold guy's good enough to do the job where Morris wasn't. So that's a plus. Yeah, and confident someone will be answering 911. They answer in Jefferson. They answer in St. Bernard, where life is hard, hard, hard. St. Tammany, of course. Orleans Parish, I don't even want to say 50-50 chance if you call 911. Last couple of times I called, one time I hung up. I guess both times I hung up. And one time I got a return call about 15 minutes later. It was about a car, an accident on the interstate. I'm coming around the curve doing like 60 and just a car right there in the lane, right there. And I zigzagged out of the way, but anyone slightly not paying attention or someone older or younger, not as quick reflexes, whatever, it's not going to be pretty and no one's answering 911. Crazy. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. That was good, man. Dr. Brobson Lutz. What did I tell you? Telling it like it is. Crazy stuff going on with the board. The mayor controls it. Hey, even though you have a director and he's saying a state agency, I want you to get a board meeting together. We're going to vote on a new president. No, I'm not doing that. I like the guy we got. Then all of a sudden, these board members get together by themselves, vote to have that meeting, overrule Lutz, who was chairman at the time, and they bring in Morris and oust the previous director who was doing just fine. Political nonsense. And you heard Lutz. It started under Mitch Landrieu. I remember this. 86ing the fair, objective, at-large people, and he brought in Andy Copland like his CAO. His chief of staff makes it political right away. And you heard what Lutz said, 911, every cell call you make, or every monthly bill, a few cents goes to Orleans Parish Communications District. So Mitch Landrieu saw the money flowing through 911. Now, that's a problem. You'll have some big entity. They've got multiple subsidiaries underneath, and the one that's kicking butt and taking names, they will take from it and even bog it down to prop up the ones that are inefficient and broken. And in this case, it's about corrupt New Orleans politics. Now, I don't think Mitch Landrieu is corrupt setting up friends and family per se, but I think Mitch Landrieu, and it's beyond his control. I think Mitch is a decent guy, a good guy, but I think Mitch is political as hell, and he can't help it. It's part of his DNA. Before he looks at what's the best policy, what's best for the citizens, what's the obvious choice, I also have to know how it helps or hurts me politically. And that is so key and so important, and there's no exceptions, and that's just how Mitch Landrieu is built. And he saw that Orleans Parish Communications District, the money that they had, and siphoned the money away to prop up broken things in other parts of the city, shore up the budget elsewhere at the cost of, the OPCD. Now it's not efficient. Now someone doesn't answer when you call 911. 311's a joke. The OIG scathing report. A joke. Tyrell Morris running it. Inefficient. The left hand doesn't know what the right's doing. Just insane. Wednesday afternoon, Wide Open Wednesday. I had Lebanon's Cafe, a to-go order for lunch. Went and saw Carlina and Heba. Got that chicken shawarma, some of that great fresh tabbouleh, a fried football kibbe. Yummy. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette, right by the streetcar barn, where Carrollton Avenue's one lane. Lebanon's Cafe, open for dinner till 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe, so good. Corey Johnson with you on a Wide Open Wednesday where you're the show producer. We got the London Avenue Canal answer. I've got some canal trivia. Starts at the lake, runs by UNO to Dillard University. The London Avenue Canal. We got that answer. This canal starts at the lake, basically runs by City Park to I-610, right by I-610. Almost to Delgado, about 6 blocks short of Delgado. What's the name of that canal? From the lake to I-610. How about the canal that starts at the lake and essentially goes to Airline Highway? All the way to Airline Highway, basically. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks for you at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. The way you can participate, dial us up via the Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Hey, if you missed Dr. Brobson Lutz for about 30 minutes starting the 5 o'clock power hour, you can always catch it on YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify after the fact. That was a good 25 minutes or so. Boy, just honest, humble, telling it like it is. Nothing to hide. Not a politician. Someone civic-minded that cares. Refreshing. Check that out if you didn't hear it. A lot of what you heard this afternoon, thunder and lightning. I mean, a lot of thunder and lightning. Totally, my Australian Shepherd, no likey. He was kind of freaking out. Some power outages, Treme, uptown, like by Hillary off Maple towards Audubon Park, by Oshner, maybe 45 minutes, an hour power outage because of the severe thunder showers and thunder and lightning that kind of rolled through. Again, isolated, so some parts of the metro, you might be listening, watching the program going, Corey, what are you talking about? Sunshine, high and dry all day, no rain at all. The family of the victim of the tree falling in Jackson Square, the 16-year-old kid who's in critical condition in the hospital, that family's suing the city. Morris Bart, his firm, that is supposedly helping the New Orleans District Attorney's Office, they're suing the city of New Orleans at the same time. That's a weird one. That's one to look at. Yes, John Bell Edwards. Yes, finally. How long have we been talking about this Highway 90 bridge at the West Pearl River, not at the state line? That bridge functions just fine. The bridge that's out is about 2 miles in Louisiana from the state line, maybe 3 miles in. The West Pearl River, not the main Pearl, the West. It's an old Huey Long era drawbridge that the state says they're not going to get fixed for 3-4 more years. But with I-10 at the state line over the Pearl River, I mean, this one lane gimmick going westbound is causing major problems. And there's no Highway 90 cut through Pearlington, basically Old Chef Highway in New Orleans East. No way to pull that gimmick. Folks are cutting up through Kiln and cutting over to 59 and coming south into Slidell. But one lane on I-10, 90 not functioning for years, unacceptable. John Bell Edwards gets it. What they need to do is the drawbridge, shore it up. Do what you need to do where that drawbridge can work for the next 2 or 3 years while you're building a new bridge right next door. But you can't shut it down. So that drawbridge on the West Pearl River, not at the state line on Highway 90, maybe 2-3 miles west of the state line, that bridge needs to be fixed. That's the only problem. The other little, there's like 2 or 3 little steel framed little trellis bridges from the Huey Long era, they're fine. It's this West Pearl River drawbridge that needs to be fixed. That's such a nice way. If you live in Bay St. Louis or Waveland or Pass Christian, even Long Beach, you go into the Silver Slipper. A lot of the time it's maybe 10, 12, 15 more minutes, but it's a more peaceful, nice ride. You exit the Fremo exit in Slidell and head south. Even though that the Gauze exit is, quote, 90, Fremo is really 90. Gauze goes south and then west into basically Fremo and then goes down to White's Kitchen, the south side of Slidell. So before that bridge was closed, I mean, especially if I was going to like the Silver Slipper, to like Lakeshore, Port Bienville, Bayou Caddy area, that area of, south of Waveland, I would want to get off at Fremo and go south till you hit Highway 90. That's Old White's Kitchen, South Slidell. Hook a left, go into Pearlington, take Highway 90 right into there. There's an exit, Port Bienville, that puts you right into Lakeshore. Right there, Bayou Caddy, right there at the Silver Slipper. Even Waveland, Pass Christian, maybe a few minutes longer than taking that exit 2 off the I-10, but much more scenic and nice, taking the old route in. Plus the more important part, hurricane season, evacuation route. That drawbridge needs to be back in operation within the next few weeks. Plastic panels, steel panels, do whatever you got to do. And then start building the new bridge immediately. It's too important. I think it's about 4,000 cars a day. But when there's problems on I-10, it can increase by a lot more. I've been at that essentially Fremo White's Kitchen, that stop sign, where it's taken a long time to get to that stop sign, where folks can turn left or right on Highway 90. I've been in traffic on that because of folks getting off of I-10 and trying to go around. Trying to go around real diamonds, you can do that. Lots of jewelry stores, diamond jewelry stores with lab-created junk. 3-week-old diamonds, mostly from China. 3 weeks old, man-made, lab-created. Those aren't diamonds. Those are items that have an unlimited supply and only depreciate in value because they're not real. They're not real diamonds. They're not natural diamonds. They're not 1 billion years old. Those diamonds, limited quantity, appreciate in value. Hey, guys, you're making a lifetime purchase for her, the most important person in your life. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street in between Broadway and Carrollton. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision.
a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper. Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at KaraaTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
I highly recommend going to YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Check out Dr. Brobson Lutz. He joined us around 5:06, 5:07. Was with us till around 5:32, 5:33, something like that. Good 25 minutes breaking down this OPCD board. He's on it, has been on it for years. Kind of his baby. Said it started when it was, Orleans Parish Communications District, fire chief, police people, just stuff like that. Then it turned into a political joke. And Landrew was the one that got it political. He saw the money that was being collected by 911 from cell phone charges. Every month you pay your cell bill. I don't know what it is, but a few cents, if you're an Orleans Parish resident, a few cents goes to the Orleans Parish Communications District. So Landrew got rid of the fair, objective, at-large board members and replaced them with political appointees. I remember Andy Copland going on that board, and that was to steer all this money from 911, 311 to the general fund. Shore up some other agencies, departments that needed money. And it takes away from 911 and 311, our safety, and makes it political. Now, that's Mitch Landrieu's biggest knock. It's not he's some crook. He's not John Alario. Let me try to set up friends and family, that type of mentality. But he is so political because of his sister, his dad. It's in his blood. It's in his DNA. You know, it's not just what's best for the people. You know, when I ran for council at large, I did not give a crap. It's like this show. I don't care who I offend. I'm going to do the righteous job. I'm going to do the right thing. Try to have some ethics, integrity, morals, honor, pride. Give back to the community. That's how I do the show. That's how I would have been a councilman. Civic-minded. I wouldn't have been thinking at all about how do I get reelected, what's popular. I would have led. I would have been a leader. It's like this program. Strong opinions. I do my research. I try to go in the right direction. I go where facts lead me, not where liberal or conservative or Democrat or Republican or what are white people going to think, black people going to think, gay people going to think. I don't care. It's a beautiful thing to have that freedom, to go where the facts go, to be born, raised by parents and brothers and sisters and relatives and friends and family and mentors and influencers who kind of kept me going in the right direction. Anyway, no, as a councilman, I wouldn't have been thinking about politics. Mitch Landrieu thinks about politics and outcomes too much, made that board political instead of safety oriented. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? 5 o'clock powwow brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City, the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, brunch on Sunday. They're open throughout the day. Go plop down at the bar, get a drink, a nice bite to eat with a bunch of New Orleans characters. Great place to wind down after work. Katie's in Mid-City.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Hey, when it's not raining, it's hot. But that doesn't mean your paint project can't get completed. When it's like below 40, you don't want to paint. But if the temperatures are in the 80s or 90s, you can go ahead and knock out that paint project. The place to get that paint, Helm Paint and Decorating, high quality Benjamin Moore products. They've been New Orleans paint store for over 50 years. Why would you even think about going anywhere else? Some chain store, a big box store, worse, those so-called coating companies, AKA the world's most expensive home painting company. That's all they are. If you need to paint, Helm Paint and Decorating, 7 locations in the metro. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. I highly recommend going to YouTube, Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, checking out Dr. Brobson Lutz, Orleans Parish Communications District Board member for years. Joining us on the program, talking about Tyrell Morris, the dysfunction of the board, the political corruption, the mayor from Landrew to Cantrell, making the board very political. What's that, Blue Boy? Tomorrow, Thursday, 4 p.m. Be there. You're right, buddy. You're right. See you tomorrow.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.